It's 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast, but we are in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado where it's prime time for the SFL on YouTube as the 2-3 Denver Nightwings play host to the 3-2 Minnesota Legend for a late night SFL fight. And good evening, everyone. Cameron Duty here alongside Alex West. Alex, it's good to be with you again, my friend. This game, it's a rather new rivalry to the league as these two teams have only met twice, with both teams sharing a win. What do you have your eye on in this third matchup between these two teams?
Well, Cameron, it's always good to be with you and always good to see the Minnesota Legend. It's something where they're something of a rather hotshot up-and-start team. They've only got 5 seasons in the league, which explains the novelty of this rivalry. But tonight I expect really all eyes to be on the Denver offense, counterintuitively. Their defense has done what they can to keep games close and try and keep these Nightwings in some games. They have won. They're not lost, or they're not undefeated. They're not winless. But at the same time, Denver's offense has got to show up tonight for this team to have any chance of defending home turf against the very strong Legends team.
Historically speaking, both of these previous games between the two have been very tight contests with a touchdown separating the margin of victory for the two. We are underway, folks. You're not going anywhere for the next hour and a half or so. Kickoff return to the 27-yard line where Minnesota will set up shop. And let's get right to it and say hello to this starting lineup, led by quarterback number 13, Johnny Reno, the halfback core of Isaac Knox and Colin Hart, the fullback Robert Henson Jr., then this wide receiving core of Queg Mam, Deezer Powell, Tita Queen, Jay Taylor, and E.J. Minson. The two tight ends, Caesar Ackerman and Jason France. The two tackles, Brookie Burr and Axel Raven. And the two guards, Dusty Wilson, Griffin King, and at center, Ruthie Raven. As they begin from the 27-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Legends, coming in here in their dark green and white uniforms this evening. That is a gain of 3. Robert Henson Jr., 2nd and 7. Passing for the first time, hit the back of a defender. That will fall incomplete. 3rd and 7. Let's say hello to this Denver defense. The defensive ends, Gerald Cumbus and Hugo Reynosa. The defensive tackles, Logan Gardner, Brenda Puff, and Joseph Saboka. The linebacking core of Lewis Quintana, John Martin, Stephon Forge. The cornerbacks, Luke Schreiner, Parker Thomas, and the safeties, Lucas DeVore and Jeff Milanishin. A big 3rd and 7 on the way already for these teams as Reno sets up under center with 3 receivers to the top of the screen. A little pressure in his face. He stands in there and throws short. The pass is complete, and he is going to make people miss. Jay Taylor on his way down the line of scrimmage, past the sticks, and into enemy territory. 1st and 10, and a play like that will get you a little bit rattled if you are on the defensive core there.
Look at this this is just a simple crossing route that Jay Taylor has the ability and the strength to shuck off that one tackle, goes for extra yardage. Credit also goes to the other wide receivers that were in the field and the line for making their way up the field in time as soon as that ball was thrown and they were able to.
Reno again to throw, middle of the field, the pass complete, contested, and it's Queg Mam who comes down with the reception. 1st and 10, and just like that, this Minnesota team are on a hot streak.
And there's no other way to say it. This is exactly what I expected coming into this game. I didn't really have enough time to get into it, but the Legends offense is one of the best in the league, and I fully expect them to put on a show for us here tonight.
Speaking of Minnesota, they come into this game with the 5th highest average points per game. 26, a little over 26 points per game on average. A tough offense to stop as we see a man in motion. That is actually the Queen to the bottom of the screen. Reno to throw, the pass complete. Sent T to Queen in motion, and it is T to Queen who comes up with her first reception of the night and a 1st and goal for the Legend.
And this is going to be a big test for the Nightwings defense. Now that you've finally gotten the legend into this shorter field situation, it's theoretically easier to defend, but at the same time, you're going to have to stop the run, and they have 5-star linemen.
First and goal, and the crowd comes to their feet cheering on the home team. It's on the ground, and it is short of the end zone. That was Colin Hart on the carry, and it looked for a brief moment like he was going to see paradise, but he had stopped short, 2nd and goal.
Somehow the safeties got there. Can they do it again?
2nd and goal. With a whole host of players in the backfield, they keep it on the ground and jumping into the end zone. Number 22, Isaac Knox for the touchdown, and Minnesota completes a successful first drive.
Knox on the Dev League there just knows that if he can sniff pay dirt, he can get $250K in his wallet, and decides that he's going to get across that line the safest way he can. Great work.
One of the most impressive opening drives this entire season that we have seen from Minnesota. Moving the ball effectively after being faced with an early 3rd down situation, and then to that point, it was, after that conversion, on down the field from there. As we said, easy peasy, and it's Mickey Melillo with the extra point as Minnesota leads 7-0 with 7:33 remaining in the first quarter. Alex, as we get ready and see Denver for the first time, what do you expect out of this crew tonight? What kind of things do they need to do in order to stay with the legend?
Well, the first thing that you're going to need to be able to do to hang with this legend offense is Gene Struthers, their quarterback, is going to need to limit the turnovers tonight. He is one of the league leaders in interceptions as far as the starting quarterback position goes, and is one of the worst QBRs so far coming into this game. If he can right the ship tonight, it will be a transformative balm for this offense.
Struthers lines up under center, 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line for the Nightwings. They keep it on the ground. Bailey O'Shaughnessy with a carry, a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. Let's say hello to this Denver offense. It is Struthers at quarterback with Bailey O'Shaughnessy at halfback. R.E. Mills, the fullback. The wide receiving core of Dalton Barker, Logan Keel, Jeremy Mosley, Dylan Lewis. The 2 tight ends, Chris Arthur and Marquise Sango. The guard, Marcella Martin. And at center, Carly Forge. And it's 2nd and 5 now, as they've set themselves up rather nicely on this 2nd down situation. On the ground once again, and it's the defense that time getting a stop. Only 1 yard gained on that play. It is 3rd down and 4 coming up.
And Denver has a really strong rushing attack for whenever you think about the fact that they only have one true halfback, one bell cow, and that's Bailey O'Shaughnessy. They managed to do a lot with a little here.
Important 3rd down of the game already for Denver. They go to the passing game, and that is what you need to see. A quick strike delivered from Struthers to Dylan Lewis. 1st down and 10, Nightwings.
And this is an incredible job by Struthers to maintain calm in the pocket, keep an eye on the coverage. He sees that the deepest option is not open. He sees that Lewis is being picked up by the slot corner, gets behind him, has that step on his man, and delivers a dart.
Is it safe to say that objective number 1 is complete? Don't go out on a 3 and out. Keep the drive alive. Let's see what Denver does here. Back to the air they go, spreading the ball around. Logan Keel with his first reception of the night.
And this is exactly what we wanted to see from Struthers to make sure we have a competitive game tonight. He is finding his receivers, and he is throwing balls that, quite honestly, are very safe passes. He's finding open men, or he's putting the ball where only a blue jersey can reach it. That's exactly what he needs to do tonight.
Speaking of those blue jerseys, as you can see, a little bit different from the norm with which we are used to for Denver. Looking very slick tonight as well. Back to the ground they go with O'Shaughnessy. He gets 1. 2nd and 9 coming up. Let's say hello to the Minnesota defense. The defensive ends, Angela Meerkat and Mark Mello. The defensive tackles, Chloe Meerkat and Max Knight. The linebacking core of Matthew Alvarado, Stephen Black, and Jason Clay. The cornerbacks, David Leathers, Nicholas Frossel, and Johnny Bravo. And then the safeties, Adrian Blaine, Jubilee Marsh, and Derek Meerkat. As it is 2nd and 9 for the Nightwing. Then enemy territory, a delayed handoff to the halfback. It's going to be Levens who gets a couple, and a big 3rd and 7 now coming up.
Something to watch here. They do have a kicker who has the leg. Jordan Bradshaw has kicked a 44-yard field goal so far this season, or that's his career long. We do know he can make these, but they'd like to get closer and prefer a first down.
Nobody in the backfield. Instead, they are showing motion. You expect them to go to the air here if they are somebody available. That's Dalton Barker who comes to the top of the screen. Struthers to throw with time. The pass complete. And a laser pass from Logan Keel, or to Logan Keel, I should say. And it's 1st and 10, and this Denver team looking poised tonight.
And this is just something that I didn't really expect at all. Like, this is an absolute missile that he sees where the defenders are guarding other players. He sees the one coverage that's on Keel is deeper than him and hits it in stride.
And fits that into a tight window, something that we know Struthers has dealt a little bit with so far this season, but looking good so far. 1st and 10, a great morale boost for the quarterback and his team. Back to the ground they go with O'Shaughnessy. He's got room to run, close to the first down marker, a gain of 8. As again we said, 2nd and 2 now on the way, and O'Shaughnessy, somebody who benefits from that passing game, but then allows the running lanes to split wide open.
And honestly, this is kind of a best-case scenario to set up this attempt to score a touchdown, because they're 2nd down and 2. If they can convert it, but they don't score, that gives them 1st and goal from like the 1.
2nd and 2, sending a man out. That's Jeremy Mosley now moving out to the top of the screen. Struthers looks his direction, now takes the snap. Tosses right side the 11s, and he is bowled over in the backfield. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for the young man as he takes a loss, 3rd and 4, and that was Black, Stephen Black, who came in on that tackle.
Sam Levin's a backup halfback doing his best.
3rd and 4, Struthers to the end zone, touchdown! Nightwings, they're 1 point away from tying this up, as it's Dylan Lewis with the touchdown.
And it's been the Struthers to Lewis connection this drive. 3 times Struthers has looked Lewis's way, and Dylan has caught it every single time. 40 yards of this 60 yards from Gene have been to this one target. They've got some chemistry going early.
And some beautiful footwork as well to keep it in bounds there at the back of the end zone. Now on to attempt the extra point. It is Jordan Bradshaw. The kick is good, and with a little over 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter, we are all tied up. And take a look at that stat. Denver's offense on the opening drive, 3 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. And what more can you ask for from this team right here, Alex?
Honestly, I could only ask that their defense forces a field goal instead of a touchdown. The offense did their job.
Minnesota's offense will start from the 23-yard line as we once again welcome them back. Let's take a look at their season up to this point. Minnesota dropped their opening game of the season against Indianapolis. They then went on to win 3 straight, beating Atlanta, Baltimore, and Louisiana. And then they lost in week 6 against the DC Dragons by a score of 24-22. That is Minnesota's season up to a glance. At this point, they're not worried about any of the past. They're just looking towards the future. And a great play, a great connection from quarterback to wide receiver Jay Taylor with the first down.
And that will make it Jay Taylor now having over 6,000 yards on his career with that reception. Congratulations, Jay. More to come. You're having a night to remember so far.
First and 10 now. Toss play right side, completely snuffed out by the defense, including number 55, John Martin, who gets the tackle for loss. 2nd and 12 now coming up.
And you know he felt that one. That was a stinger.
Certainly laid into that hit. And the halfback gets up shaking a little bit, shaking it off. 2nd and 12 now coming up. 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Reno to throw, almost intercepted. And you can tell that Jeff Melanishin, who is near the top of the standings when it comes to INT, as a matter of fact, at the top of the standings with 4 this season, almost had a 5th.
Wanted it, is shaking his head a little bit. He's like, yeah, I got the deflection, but come on. Reno got away, very lucky.
And that sets up an important, a very crucial 3rd and 12. The pass complete, fitting it into a tight window is Johnny Reno as Deezer Powell comes up with the catch somehow in all that traffic, and it's 1st and 10.
And we're getting an air show tonight. I didn't think we'd get both offenses firing on all cylinders like this, but I'm happy to see it.
Exactly the kind of action you want on a SFL late night. And it's Minnesota again moving the football. Delayed handoff. Colin Hart up the middle. An 8-yard gain on 1st down. I mean, what more can you say? It doesn't get much better than that on 1st down.
When you have effective pass after effective pass, that makes this setup for this delayed play action so simple for the offensive line to get a massive push, because the secondary, all of them, safeties and corners, are all sagging back. There's no one coming in to cover this run from enough angles. Just easy money.
And how about that blocking there from Robert Henson Jr. to help spring that run? 2nd and 2, they keep it on the ground, and that's Knox. He's going to be close, and they're going to give him, or they're going to say he's a yard short. 3rd and 1, tackle made by Luke Schreiner.
One of the downsides of being Isaac Knox's side, 6'3", 235, with those broad shoulders and that neck collar, it's tough to fit in tight spaces.
3rd and 1, and again, you hear the decibels coming up in the stadium here, Richard L. Snowden Stadium. They keep it on the ground. The pass or the run is successful for Colin Hart, who is, again, as we said, coming up big time after time on these ground games.
That's what you expect from the number 2 rusher in the NFL, in the SFL, excuse me.
1st and 10 for the legend. Knox with the carry, a little bit better that time. 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4 coming up.
Knox is definitely a capable runner. It's unfair to compare him to Isaac Knox. It's unfair to compare Hart to Knox. Knox has only been in the league for 2 seasons, but what he does is very respectable, change of pace, power back stuff.
The ground once more they go. Close to the 1st down. Denver was hot on their trail, though. That was Stephon Forge coming in to make the stop. And just like that, we have completed the 1st quarter. All tied up here in Denver, 7-7. A late night SFL battle. Thank you for watching with us tonight. Cameron Duty here with Alex West, Ron Haynes, and Danny Carmichael in the stats truck, and Cameron Irvine back at SFL headquarters. As Minnesota on the move. They keep it on the ground, and it's the Denver defense busting through early. They read that play like a book, and it's Luis Quintana with the loss.
There was no question that I was going to be running with all those hands on the ground, but an unbelievable blitz, incredible penetration.
And just like you said, Alex, it is a crucial stop for this Denver defense, limiting them to a field goal attempt, and the kick is good by Mickey Malillo right down Broadway after an 11-play, 55-yard drive. So Minnesota does squeak out in front. But again, we have to talk about that Denver defense and how they come up with a huge stop.
And this is exactly what I was saying I wanted to see this Nightwings defense manage. I wasn't asking them to force an actual punt out of the legend. I knew that'd be tough with how good they're looking on that first drive. But to force a field goal on the second drive is exactly what this defense needed. Builds the confidence. The home crowd's behind them. The offense has a chance to take the lead.
Looking for a big return this time, as Dalton Barker brings it out to the 26-yard line, and that is where we will see the Denver Nightwings set up shop. We've seen what they were able to do the last drive out. Can they duplicate that? We'll see what Struthers and company has in store for this next possession. Two receivers to the top of the screen and one at the bottom of the screen, as you see there. They keep it on the ground with O'Shaughnessy, who gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not much more. Nicholas Frossel with the tackle.
And that's not what you want to have on your first attempt to run the football. You want a better establishment there, especially when you're handing it off to Bailey. But sometimes it happens.
Second down, Struthers now will go to the air. He rolls out. He finds his man underneath to Lewis. And again, going back to your point, Alex, Struthers making very good decisions right now, even if he has to take the short route. Not going for the big play, but just trying to make an accurate completion.
For sure, he knows it's second down. He knows he has one more to play with. Just get closer to the first down marker. Get the chains less hard to make.
3rd and 5 for Struthers. Pressure's coming. He rolls out. He throws deep, and he had a man trying to go for Jeremy Mosley. And he overthrew him, and that will bring out the punting unit.
And I understand why he was looking deep there. He thought he saw the little bit of a gap there in the between the protection and the receiver. He had a crossing route that was covered underneath, would have come open if he had a little more time, but the pressure was coming off the strong side. The line wasn't going to hold forever. He listened to the clock in his head and decided to get it out there, take a shot deep rather than risk a sack.
Bradshaw with a nice punt. The return man tackled at the 29-yard line. And now for Minnesota, as we discussed, they were able to get down and score 3 points on their last drive, but now with a good opportunity here to even extend that lead even further.
Minnesota's offense is definitely looking for a touchdown here. They want to make this a 2-score game. If they don't, I think that they will feel like they failed on this one. Denver needs to stand tall again. Home crowd's going to get on their feet and get behind the boys.
And on cue, Alex, you hear the crowd behind them. Toss play left side. No room to run there. Another good stop by Milanishin and company and this Denver defense. Stephon Forge in on that tackle. 2nd and 10. Back to the air, and just enough miscommunication there to cause the incompletion. The intended target was Deezer Powell, and it's 3rd and 10. And as we're talking about this Denver defense, we know that Milanishin, the leader in interceptions on this season, but there are some big guys up front, such as Stephon Forge and, Quintana, and then some folks on the defensive line. Gerald Cumbus, 3 sacks on the season, getting pressure and getting home to Minnesota. It almost did again, and instead of being brought down behind the line of scrimmage, it turns into a big gain thanks to Johnny Reno. And it's 1st and 10 with a great reception that time being made.
And thanks to some creative offensive packaging and some mismatch, it was formed because that was the situation where Luke Schreiner was being asked to cover very talented T. Queen in the short route, and she just got behind him.
The ground game, they go once more. A loss of 2 that time. So again, the big man up front for Denver making a big stop. And let's talk about this Minnesota receiving corps. So many big-time players: Quigman, Deezer Powell, T. DeQueen, Jay Taylor, E.J. Minson. Is it overstepping to say, Alex, that they have one of the most talented wide receiver corps in the league?
Honestly, no. This squad is the only other team I think that has such an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent is Fort Worth. But Fort Worth isn't necessarily rolling 5 deep at this position. They have 3 very, very talented elite receivers, but E.J. Minson is one of the deadliest in the league, and Jay Taylor is not far behind him. It's a tough task to say who's the best on any given night.
3rd and 12, they do toss play. The right side to Hart. He's got a tough road ahead of him. Oh, and we've got Luke Schreiner down, number 29 for Denver, their cornerback, who has already made some big plays this evening. We'll hope it's nothing serious here.
I don't know if they were looking to try and just catch the defense sleeping and what they were exactly looking to do here, but that's nowhere near Mickey Malillo's leg.
A surprising play call indeed on what was, again, 3rd and 12. They pick up 6. So on 4th and 6, Malillo will punt this ball away and look to pin Denver deep. So Denver's defense again doing a good job there. And fielded and tackled immediately, so Denver will start from the 17-yard line. But yeah, a surprising play on 3rd and 12.
Definitely, and it's one of those things where, you think that they're probably looking to try and catch the defense off guard, thinking that if they can, ask Colin Hart, one of the best runners, admittedly, along with 3 receivers to that side, that they could get enough one-on-one blocks and just Colin could take the sideline and make the chains.
Struthers hands off to O'Shaughnessy, and just like the last series we've seen in there, they run it on 1st down, and again, just barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. They will credit O'Shaughnessy with 1 yard.
We also saw Minnesota do the same thing on their most recent drive too. Maybe both these teams need to get away from running on 1st down.
2 receivers to the top. Mosley goes in motion. And they'll let the play clock wind down to 5, and it is snapped. Struthers to throw. Oh, and he had his man wide open again, just overthrowing Sango. Marquise Sango with the first pass attempt of the evening for him. It falls incomplete.
And it feels like a miscommunication rather than an overthrow, because he throws that one where if Sango goes up to try and grab that one and reaches up there, he's going to get it. But instead, he's turning, trying to catch it in stride.
Struthers rolling out, throws across his body, and that pass also incomplete. It was contested, and great coverage along the sidelines by Minnesota. David Leathers literally blanketing the intended target.
Feels like maybe on that one he did overthrow Dylan Lewis. Unfortunate there. Both defenses finally dialing in and making some adjustments.
Bradshaw now will punt from inside his own 5-yard line. So Minnesota should have good field position here. A good punt, tackled immediately the 37-yard line. Let's go back to SFL headquarters. Let's say hello to Cameron Irvine with a game break. What have you got for us, Cam? Good evening.
Thank you, Cam. Good evening. Shea Carroll on this punt return gets a couple of key blocks, and he's out of there for the score. Vancouver leads, though, 17-10, just starting the 3rd. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam, and we've got a good one here as well in the Mile High City. Reno rolling out, throws the pass incomplete. It looked like it was going to be completed for just a moment before a late hit coming in on that one. Lucas DeVore gets there just in the nick of time at the very last minute to knock that ball loose.
An absolute teeth rattler. You know that's one that Lucas loves to deliver. Those opportunities to really lay the wood in the open field.
Have you ever heard the phrase, in the 11th hour? That was what DeVore did. He got there just in time to jar that one loose. Reno with pressure, but somehow he got rid of it, and it looked for a split second that Jay Taylor was going to get this one over the shoulder, but the pass falls incomplete. Jeff Melanishan again on the coverage as well.
That's his 2nd deflection of the night. That's the 2nd near pick that Melanishan's had. If Reno keeps lobbing in his direction like that, Jeff's going to find one.
3rd and 10, a big 3rd down here for the Minnesota Legend, and they keep it on the ground once more. They get the defense caught off guard, and that's Colin Hart with the rumbling, bumbling play. They went back to it again, Alex, on 3rd down, but this time it pays off.
And this is exactly what that earlier call was supposed to look like an execution, but with one key difference here that I think made the difference between a blow up in the backfield. That was a handoff instead of a toss play. That gave Colin more momentum running downfield.
So a fresh set of downs, and it's a delayed handoff to Isaac Knox, and the big man gets 5. 2nd down coming up as we approach 5 minutes remaining in a fast-moving first half.
That's the kind of thing that he excels at. Even if you manage to start bringing him down, his size and momentum means he's going to keep moving forward.
2nd down and 5 yards to go. Again with the ground play to Hart. Make the man miss close to the 1st down before getting pushed back. They're going to say it's 3rd and inches coming up for the Legend.
The rare missed tackle by Luis Quintana there, who's trying to make that go for basically nothing, but just a ice cold arm shiver there from Colin delivers that one.
3rd and 1, and they're not going to get it.
Quintana pays him back.
Backfield. That's right, Alex. Luis Quintana again getting the stop, pushing them back. It's 4th and 1.
Oh, baby, here we go.
And the crowd again, listen to the chants. Defense, but Minnesota comfortable and confident in their offense. 4th and 1 on the ground. Not gonna get it. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Thanks to the big man, John Martin. He keeps Colin Hart at bay, and it's 4th down. No, it's a turnover, excuse me.
These linebackers for the Nightwings are doing it all right now. It's not that the defensive line is doing poorly, but just the linebacker core is feasting and beasting tonight.
What a game we got tonight. I mean, this defensive knockdown drag out. A little Friday night smackdown, if you will, taking place here in Colorado. Shaughnessy with a spin move and only gets one before getting tackled by Black.
No matter what it is that you like about football, if you've been watching this game from the initial kickoff, you've seen something that you've liked tonight. We've seen some effective ground games, we've seen some great passing, and now this past quarter has been a defensive showcase.
Struthers now to throw. Ooh, a soft touch on that pass. He almost got it to his intended target. That was the second time we've seen him go to Mosley, and a couple of plays there. Incomplete, though, 3rd and 9.
All right, young man, you need to peel yourself off the turf and get your head right, because you just let that ball bounce off your open hands, and there was no one near you.
Look at this formation. Nobody in the backfield. Instead, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And Struthers takes the snap. Throwing incomplete into traffic. And it's 4th and 9, so not able to capitalize at all on that big defensive stand, and they'll have to punt it away.
I think that one went right off the gloves of David Leathers, the cornerback from Minnesota. That's one of those where Struthers is starting to sail him a little bit. He needs to get that ball just a little bit lower than what he's throwing.
Bradshaw will punt this away, and a good punt to the 10-yard line. Oh, and look at this. Bouncing off a defender. Number 83, E.J. Minson, gets it back out to the 23-yard line. And that's where they will set up shop. An interesting note, Denver scored a touchdown on its opening drive versus Charleston and then did not score again the entire game. We're hoping that history for Denver does not repeat itself as we go on into this game. We'll see what happens here as they struggle to find their way back to the end zone. Minnesota also having some challenges in the last couple of series. The defenses for both teams playing beautifully up to this point. We'll see if they can crack the code, if you will, with 3:37 remaining in the second quarter. A toss play left side, and Hart goes nowhere. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11.
Definitely something where you mentioned that Denver doesn't want a repeat of their last outing against Charleston, especially not in front of the home crowd here. They really want to make sure the fans get what they paid for. Even if you don't get a win, you want to show that you got fight.
Now reeling from a 44-7 loss against the Predators on the road last week. They're glad to be back. Short pass out of the backfield to Henson, who gets 5, and a manageable 3rd and 5 coming up.
You know what's funny about Henson Jr. is that whenever he started in the league, he didn't actually set out to play. Fullback, but he's since done exceptional work since moving over to the position.
Now we see 3rd and 5. Again facing the legend. Going deep, and he had his man, but he just sailed that one. Johnny Reno wishes he could get that one back as he had Taylor wide open.
A rare opportunity for a guaranteed home run ball if you find it. Oh, no, that's going to sit in the pit of his stomach. That one is also going to be in the offensive film session for next week, and that one's going to be gone over a couple times.
Malillo's punt, fair caught at the 41-yard line. Folks, if you haven't heard the news, the SFL convention is headed to Baltimore for the 2025 convention, kicking off the league's 25th anniversary season. That's July the 10th through the 14th in 2025. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's beautiful inner harbor, and revel in the league's first convention on the East Coast. You can reserve your room now at a special group rate at simfl.net. O'Shaughnessy with a gritty run, gets 7, 2nd and 3 coming up.
And this is one that's all O'Shaughnessy here. Breaks one tackle, shucks, and whenever the second body arrives to actually bring him down, he keeps his legs churning. This would have been like 2nd and 6 otherwise.
Instead, it's 2nd and 3 as we approach the 2-minute warning. They get one more play off, a delayed handoff to Levens, who hasn't been able to get anything going tonight. 3rd and 3 coming up after the 2-minute warning. A fast-moving first half. We've got 2 minutes left to play. Minnesota with the lead. Cameron Duty and Alex West here with Ron Haynes on the stats truck, as well as Danny Carmichael working it, and Cameron Irvine, the SFL headquarters. Struthers toss play right side to O'Shaughnessy, and he gets just enough. Oh, that was a close one.
It's one of those narrow things. They say it's a game of inches, and that one was definitely a matter of inches. Friendly spot, though, makes it move the chains.
Clock continuing to run under 2 minutes, 1 minute and 40 seconds and counting, as Denver hoping to get some points before they head to the lockers for halftime. Struthers with all kinds of time, dumps out and just has to throw it short. Couldn't find anybody downfield. Forward progress, gets a couple, and it's 2nd and 8.
And that is incredible credit to the Legends secondary, who have been making things difficult for Struthers tonight. Despite his ease of work on the opening drive, we've seen him have some issues since. And that's credit to this cornerback and safety squad.
Logan Keel now to the top of the screen. 3 receivers at the top, nobody at the right-hand side for Struthers, and he hands it off to O'Shaughnessy, and a timeout is called after a couple-yard gain.
And I think it's worth noting that who was collapsing to the ball there that actually brought that tackle up. It was the corner and safeties on the outside. They are flying around the field tonight. The Legends secondary squad has to be thrilled with how they've been performing.
Pass play complete. Dylan Lewis with the first down. A unique formation there for Denver, but it pays off, finding Lewis open in the flat, and it's a first down as a timeout is called.
What I'm also impressed by is how Struthers, who threw behind Lewis a little bit, leads him open with that one, gets him in some space. Could have gone wrong, but effort by the receiver to catch that one and adjust.
The receivers to the right, one to the top, and he dumps it off to O'Shaughnessy, making a man miss, crosses the 30. 2nd and 2 now coming up. They go no huddle, under a minute left to play in the second quarter. Struthers again to throw. The pass complete out to number 82, Logan Keel. First down, drive continues. 35 seconds and counting here, moving quickly. Spiking the ball, 2nd and 10, stops the clock with 29 seconds left, and a really good string of plays for Denver there.
Absolutely. They moved the ball quite effectively on those last few snaps. Now they're very much within scoring range. All they have to do is not turn the ball over. They've got one timeout left. You've got a few chances to take some shots deep here.
We'll see what they can draw up on 2nd and 10. Struthers with plenty of time looking deep. The pass is complete. Reeling that one in is Marquise Sango. Don't have much time to talk about it, but that was a wonderful play. 1st and goal, 17 seconds and counting as they spike it once more. 16 seconds remaining of this first half. What a play that was by Sango, climbing the ladder.
For sure, and that is exactly what Struthers wanted Sango to do the previous time he looked his way and threw that one deep. And we said that Struthers was sailing that one, but Sango was also spinning instead of jumping. There we see him get vertical, and look what happens. 2nd
and goal. As we said, 16 seconds remaining. Pressure coming in Struthers' face. Batted. Almost intercepted. A scary play, as Stephen Black got a big hand on that one.
And I'm perfectly fine with taking a shot through the air on this one, but you're very close to the goal line here. You're on like the 4.5, or the 3.5. I would run the football here.
With one timeout remaining, we'll see if they decide to keep it on the ground, knowing they can stop it once more. Man in motion. Chris Arthur, the tight end now to the left side. And that's where they'll run it. O'Shaughnessy, close. Not going to get there. A big stop by this Minnesota Legend defense. It's 4th and goal, and we'll see if the kicking unit is going to come out for Denver.
And for me, I feel like you have to take the points here. I'm typically a pretty aggressive guy, but at this point, you settle for the 3, and you go into halftime with a tie game.
As we expected, Bradshaw on to attempt the 18-yard field goal, and it is good. A 14-play, 59-yard drive that took just 2 minutes and 26 seconds results in an 18-yard field goal and a tie ball game. Just 5 seconds from heading to halftime here in Denver. But this is the SFL, Alex. Kick return, that's possible.
It can happen. Blink and you might. Oh, not when it's
Not there.
that far.
Not when Bradshaw says, not on my watch. This ball will come out to the 20-yard line. He stopped that quickly. And we'll see just how aggressive Minnesota wants to be here with 5 seconds remaining. I wouldn't expect much.
No, Bradshaw sending a message to doink that one off the opposite field uprights. Holy moly.
Goodness, there went my talking point. Adding a little suspense to this game. To the air goes Reno. The pass is complete. Jay Taylor gets the reception. The Nightwings are there to stop him immediately. And we'll head into the lockers for halftime.
Little stat padding never hurt nobody. Plus, that's just a great confidence builder throw. You've got a chance to take a shot deep, do it.
Halftime. The Mile High City, a tie ball game, 10 apiece between Minnesota and Denver. We welcome you into the SFL Halftime Report. Alex, give us your thoughts on an exciting first half of action.
Honestly, the Nightwings have come tonight to play. They are here to defend home turf. They want to keep the nest safe, and they've done everything they need to do so far to hang with one of the toughest teams in the SFL. They've kept Reno's damage to a minimum. They've kept the they've kept the ground game mostly bottled up. Their own offense is working tonight. It's not perfect, but they are finding success, and that's the most important thing, is that they are finding ways to score the football. This game is close. It could go either way. Don't go anywhere, because if you blink, you could miss the play that breaks this thing wide open.
Before we get back to the action, let's take a quick halftime break, brought to you by Brakes GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
An Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and much more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. We invite you to join the community of collectors on the Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner at brakesgpt.com. Denver with the ball to start this third quarter, 1st and 10. And what, as we said, has been just a brilliant defensive battle after some opening series there early on in this game. Since then, it's been a couple of field goals, and that's it. 10-10 as we start this second half. O'Shaughnessy with the carry, worms his way through for 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up as Blaine with the stop.
Now, I'm just going to harp on for a second about special teams. I don't know if you noticed, but that both of the kickoffs, the one to end the half and the one to start the second half, both of those were going in the same direction. Both of those went out of the end zone. I think we've got a nasty headwind that the Nightwings are going to have to deal with.
Levens with the carry. He gets a yard. Unfortunately, that may be his biggest run of the night. Just no luck that time or this entire evening with Levens. 3rd and 7 coming up. A good point that you make, Alex, about that nasty wind that could be causing an issue with some of these returns going out of the back of the end zone. We'll see if that continues to play a part. Of course, we are in Colorado. Pressure coming.
No!
And Struthers obliterated. Making his way home, number 97, Max Knight, 6'5", all 350 pounds, came crashing down on Gene Struthers.
And that's just an incredible one-on-one matchup. He does the spin move, goes inside, beats the guard one-on-one, and just can't help but swallow up the quarterback at that point. You're right in front of him.
Bradshaw now on to punt again. The second time he's been inside his own 5-yard line. He'll get this one away, and a fair catch called for right at midfield by Minson. A good field position to work with, and it looks as if we may have another player down. Let's see. Yes, we do. That's John Martin, the linebacker, the outside linebacker who has had some big plays in this game.
And that's a huge blow to the Denver defense. They did not want to see him go down. He's one of their squad leaders. He was an all-star last season and is one of the leaders for this defensive squad.
First and 10, 49-yard line for Minnesota. Handing it off to Hart. Makes a man miss, still on his feet. A beautiful bruising run. First down and then some, as they like to say in the game chat, all Hart, all the time.
And this is exactly what you expect from a rusher of his caliber and what he has delivered year in and year out. And it's just honestly impressive to watch him work. He's on the list of the best in the business right now.
Colin Hart, 13 seasons in the league. He has spent the past 5 here in Minnesota. A 4-time All-Star. Knox gets the carry that time. Loses a yard. Tackled immediately by Stephon Forge.
And that one, just great work by the Nightwings front line to stand up their offensive line counterparts and clog the running lanes, leave nowhere to go for the bigger frame of Isaac Knox, and he's easily swallowed up in the backfield.
On third down, it's a delayed handoff to Hart. Spin move trying to get out of a tackle, or on second down rather, and gets a couple, so that sets up an important 3rd and 8 now. And what do you do right here if you're Minnesota? What would you do, Coach Alex?
Well, I'd pass, but given how often they've gone to Colin Hart on third down, anything is possible.
They do go to the air. The pass complete. Quig Mam with the reception, and it's 1st and 10 for the Legend.
And that's a tight little window to fit that one in there, and an impressive work by Quig Mam, who is determined to catch as many as she can tonight, bringing that one in.
Again, a beautiful reception, just outstretching to get that one, bring it in, get the first down, keep the drive alive. In the red zone here for Minnesota, the best looking drive that they have had in quite some time. Reno 8 of 15, 155 yards. No touchdowns yet. We'll see if he gets one this drive. Toss play, left side to Hart. And he gets 4. That was a tough 4 yards there. 2nd and 6.
One of the toughest runs he's had tonight, where he didn't just get blown up in the backfield or make someone miss at the line of scrimmage and do some extra shimmy move to get 5 extra yards out of nowhere. Like, that one was a rare mortal run.
Reno to throw. The pass complete. Wonderful job of adjusting her body. That is T. DeQueen with another reception on the evening. Make that 3 now for DeQueen.
And Johnny is doing a good job throwing the football tonight. Something you pointed out is it's kind of surprising that he doesn't have a touchdown already, but he hasn't found all of the deep shots.
Denver has done a pretty good job in that category, locking him down. Now a man going in motion. Reno throwing it on the backfield to Hart. Take a little loss there. 2nd and goal, back to the drawing board.
And credit there to a great open field tackle, Jeff Melanishin, saying, no, you're getting 0 yards on this check down. Thank you very much.
On 2nd down. Man in motion, that's Caesar Ackerman. Pressure coming, Reno delivers to the end zone, pass incomplete and broken up. That was Ackerman, the intended target, and all over Ackerman was Parker Thomas with the deflection.
And I did not expect that kind of power out of Parker Thomas. He is, in this moment, he sees red and he goes full Bobby Boucher, laying that one down.
Parker Thomas, in his first season with Denver, coming over a season 22 All-Star. He spent his previous 10 seasons in Arizona, but they are enjoying having him here. Listen to this crowd, folks. 3rd and goal. Have we seen this movie before in this game? We have. Can Minnesota get it into the end zone? Reno, touchdown. He fits it in. Number 83, E.J. Minson with the touchdown. That is Reno's first touchdown of the night. And while we're at it, let's make that the nice hands catch of the game. Brought to you by Retroid.
And what else is there to say here? It's a post route going to the corner. It's a tight window. There's plenty of blue jerseys surging around, but Reno is seeing where everyone's heads are at, and he sees EJ's head going forward full steam to the back of the end zone, uncovered, no one looking his way, and he finds him for his first target of the night.
Malilla with the extra point. Minnesota now leading 17-10 with 5:28 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Folks, how many likes do we have on this video so far? Not enough. Let's smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure you got your notifications on so you won't miss a minute of SFL and SFLM action, and help this channel grow through your support. Now the end zone for the touchback. That's 1st and 10 for Denver now. Okay, Alex, as I said, Coach Alex time. Let's say, what do you tell this team who has played wonderfully up to this point? They've got to try to find a way to stick with Minnesota late in this game.
Well, you've already found ways to score. We've already managed to keep ourselves in this game. It's only down 1 touchdown, and we've scored 1 tonight. We just need to find another one. It's an effective mix attack that's going to do it, so let's keep up the good work and keep up the intensity.
Struthers throwing short. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. And that is something we can say Struthers has done a great job of protecting the football all night long.
He's been exceptional so far, and he is, like I said, the difference maker. If he is online and he is finding completions, and instead of throwing to the other team, he is an incredible asset.
Handoff to O'Shaughnessy, make the man miss. He was primed for a big run had he got through that 2nd tackle, but he does make this a much more manageable 3rd and 3.
And this is honestly just to praise Struthers a little bit more while we have the moment. I mentioned how he came into this game with a 44 QBR rating. He is currently sitting at 92.2, almost 50 points above, and I think he can do even more.
11 of 19 for 111 yards. Levens out of the backfield running right side and stop. They try to go to Levens on 3rd down, try to stretch the field there, and instead it was this Minnesota defense. I'm sorry, but, you know, pun intended, I guess, but legendary.
For sure. It's just a mistake to ask your backup and to ask Levens, who's not really a reliable back, to go get you 4 yards on a toss play. There's absolutely no surprise that David Leathers makes that one-on-one tackle with ease.
And give credit to this Minnesota defense. They have really did a fantastic job of locking down this Denver offense. After the early score, they've been able to tack on a field goal at the end of the 1st half, but since then, Minnesota now feeling like they may be trying to take control of the 2nd half. We'll see what happens. Johnny Reno and company back under center, 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Toss play left side to Hart, and he gets stopped immediately in the backfield. And how many times are we going to say Stephon Forge's name this evening? Big plays all around by the big man.
I'll say it again and again as many times as he does something incredible, but he seems to be determined to get on the highlight reel at least 5 times tonight with how he's acting.
Minnesota struggling to pick Forge up. Pressure coming in. Reno rolling out. You could see there that one of the defenders trying to come up and snag an interception out of the air. That pass was a little bit too high for anyone. Incomplete. 3rd and 11 as Reno threw that one away.
Reno knows the pressure is coming. He's trying to find that gap in between the zones, trying to find a soft spot, but instead he almost underthrows it for one of the lurking linebackers to snag it.
3rd and 11. Will the pressure get home to Reno? And he passes and he completes short. So this defense, John Martin, again, back in the game, so the injury didn't keep him out for too long. They maintain and they contain, and it's 4th and 7 now. Minnesota will have to punt.
And honestly, it's been such a topsy-turvy game from what we kind of expected. Whenever you come into the game, you look at the numbers, you think, oh, Minnesota's going to move the ball pretty effectively through the air. Their ground game is going to be ruthless. They're going to score practically at will. Denver's going to struggle to keep up. They're going to have to rely on their running game to do a lot of the heavy lifting. But instead, it's been the inverse. Denver's passing attack has been the lifeblood of this offense. It's been what has kept them in the game. And I think that, honestly, you've got to call Gene's number. You've got to ask him to do a little more.
Malilla with a great punt, and Denver will start from their 20-yard line, giving it to O'Shaughnessy. Hurdles over a defender there and gets a gain of 4th, 2nd, and 6. Are we surprised that we haven't seen more out of O'Shaughnessy yet in this game? He's had a lot of carries, but really just no big highlight reel material yet.
To some extent, it feels like this is a weakness of scheming, because anytime Sam Levens is in, you can guess pass and still be fine catching up in the run coverage.
Levens again on the carry, as you mentioned, splitting time between O'Shaughnessy and Levens this evening for sure, and it's an all-important 3rd and 2 now.
And that's his best run of the night. He goes for 4 yards there due to some impressive blocking up front and some lead blocks. The fullback in the line with throwing.
Denver trying to stop a 2-game losing skid. They don't want to extend it to 3. They need to convert, and they do. Stretching the field right side, O'Shaughnessy gets just enough for the first down, and the drive continues.
And this is where the rushing attack is looking the best it has all night. Finally, some of the body blows that O'Shaughnessy has been throwing by running into the teeth of this defense again and again, starting to show some production.
They'll go to the air with Struthers, throwing off his back foot. The pass complete. Oh, and just an absolute beauty of a reception made by Logan Kill. He has been Struthers' big man on campus this entire night.
And Logan's one of the best in the league, have no doubt. But he's struggled at times to find his stride. Tonight, Gene is picking him out and is looking to him in these key moments and getting some deep strikes to him. It's been a difference maker.
1:42 remaining in this 3rd quarter. A fast-moving game. A defensive struggle. A lot of ground game. You'll get that sometimes. Oh, bobbled. That was right in the hands of Jeremy Mosley, and he juggled that one like a hot potato, and it falls to the ground incomplete. An interesting stat to bring up here tonight, talking about the ground game and just the defense. Colin Hart, you usually don't call this stat much, 6 runs for a loss tonight. When's the last time we can say that? O'Shaughnessy with a gain of 1. I think that just tells Alex how tough these 2 defensive fronts have been this evening.
For sure, and it's been something where both defensive game plans have clearly been centered around stopping the run. For Colin Hart to have that many runs for a loss is just something that I would never have believed if you hadn't said it.
3rd and 9, and a rollout coming from Struthers, looking, throws short, off the hands of his intended target, and they may have been setting up something there with Logan Kill, but that one, he's going to feel pretty bad about that one for a while. 4th and 9, they've got to punt it away.
And that one also is a bit of a rough pass from Struthers, who looks like he throws that one up into the side of where Keel would have liked it to be. You want to hit him between the numbers, not up above his shoulder.
A promising drive stalls out about midfield, and Bradshaw on again to attempt another punt. Fair catch called for. Minnesota will start over at their 18-yard line. So, yeah, frustration. You're starting to feel it a little bit in the offensive camp here for Denver. We know that they have went through a wholesale of coaching changes this past week. They've certainly come out looking good, but right now trying to put the puzzle pieces together as Minnesota starts from their 18-yard line. Toss play right side, Colin Hart, who gets past the line of scrimmage, and he gets 4. 2nd and 6 coming up. And quickly before we go to you, Alex, let's pass this score along. Vancouver beats Los Angeles 30-10. That is a final score. Once again, Vancouver beating Los Angeles 30-10. 2nd and 6 now. for Minnesota. Half a minute to play in this third quarter. Keeping it on the ground with Knox, who falls forward and gets a couple. He was stuffed behind the line before bulldozing his way through for a few.
And that's just this frame kicking in again. Just a huge figure to try and bring down in the backfield. Safeties can't do it easily, but they can. Corners will struggle. Linebackers and linemen are who you need to ask to make those tackles.
Will we get one more play? We do. They snap it. And it is Hart. Tried to catch the defense off guard, and Hart gets a nice run, a first down, as Minnesota's drive will continue after this. Let's take a look at this replay one more time to see what happened here, Alex.
And that's just incredible. Look at that. They've got so many hands on the ground. They've got that I formation where they've got 2 lead blockers for them. It's just easy money.
We're on to the fourth quarter. We'll take a quick break. We'll hear from Chris Curtis and the league rights, and we'll be right back.
Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Camera duty here with Alex West in the booth. An exciting game as we begin this fourth quarter. Give a shout out to Ron Haynes and Danny Carmichael on stats tonight, and of course Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters. Minnesota now trying to stretch their lead. Colin Hart just gave him a first down. He's going to give him another and then some. Breaking past midfield, and it's starting to turn into the Colin Hart show in the blink of an eye. We talked about the 6 runs for loss. Forget that. This man now has turned the page at the start of this fourth quarter.
And it's one of the advantages that Minnesota has here with having both Hart and Knox in the backfield is that you can ask Hart to do a lot of these runs, but you have Knox as a change of pace back. This makes Colin all the more effective in the fourth quarter. 4's up in the sky, 4 fingers in the air. Because after all these runs, it's so much easier for him to get extra yardage.
Knox with a little bit of a delayed handoff there. He does get a couple before Quintana brings him down. A gain of 2 on the play. Minnesota certainly beginning to feel it here, as if they get a score on this, especially a touchdown, that it could be decision-making time there for Denver if they do go down by 2 scores. It may be a hard road to come back from, but again, they've got to get there. After that run, it is 3rd and 8, and just can't overstate just how important this play is coming up here, Alex.
If they can, even if they can just stop a first down.
Reno to throw, and they do. They get the stop they need. It was in and out of the hands of Jay Taylor. He couldn't bring it in. 4th and 8, Malillo on to punt.
It feels like just too far away for Malillo to try and make a field goal. Even with a tailwind going, that'd be over 50 yards. It's asking a lot.
Denver gets the stop that they need. And Malillo now to punt. Not one of the best punts of the evening, but it takes a good bounce to the 10-yard line, so that's going to work out really well in Minnesota's favor, as Denver will have to start from their 10-yard line, 90 yards to the promised land here.
Feels like one of the worst decisions that the return man, Dalton Barker, could have made on that play. Much rather have seen him be under that and call for a fair catch and let it bounce like that.
First and 10 on the 11-yard line is where they will mark Denver. O'Shaughnessy gets nothing. 2-yard loss, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely stuffed. An incredible job by the linebacker Matthew Alvarado there to sneak in and get another tackle for loss there. His 10th on the season.
2nd and 12, 8-13 and counting in this fourth quarter. Struthers will go to the air. The pass complete somehow. Keel turning around to make the completion, but we'll see what the penalty is here.
DPI.
Yep. Defensive pass interference. Denver declines. 1st and 10. Well, that was the play that they needed, wasn't it?
For sure. Exactly. The breath of fresh air gets you out of having your back against the end zone. And also, that's going to put Logan Keel up over 11,000 yards for his career.
Congratulations, Logan. Struthers to throw out the backfield to O'Shaughnessy, who meets the defender head on. He is rolled over, and he gets 5, so making something out of nothing.
A little bit of magic act right there.
Second and 5 now on the way. Toss play right side with Levens, who gets some positive yards. An important 3rd and 2 now coming up for this Denver offense.
Great extra effort there. Now here's a concern. It's 3rd and 2, so it feels like an obvious running play. But Minnesota has shown they can pick up the run whenever they expect it and stop Shaughnessy in the backfield. This is a huge decision point.
And it's a handoff to the fullback. Getting a little tricky is this Denver offense. Charles Stackhouse, the backup fullback, coming in and makes the crucial 1st down run.
Absolutely everyone got mixed, even me. No one saw the fullback coming.
Gotta love the creativity out of this Denver offense tonight, really switching up and making the critical plays when they needed to. And now O'Shaughnessy just gets trapped behind the lineman trying to push his way through. Could not get around as we take a look at the team stats tonight. For the most part tonight, Alex, a pretty even game.
You know, it feels like that, but also at the same time, you really have to give some credit to the Minnesota Legend, who have a 1-score lead because they have moved the ball slightly more effectively than Denver has overall. They've punched it in twice as opposed to only once, and that has been the difference maker, is that 100 yards in total offense.
Mosley in motion as Struther throws. Oh, and that's who he was going for, off the hands of his intended target. Again, great defensive pressure that time by Minnesota, and it's 3rd and 10.
And this Minnesota secondary has done a great job of being both one on the hips of these receivers as they've been doing their routes downfield. And when those balls have been coming in, if they haven't got their heads turned around because man coverage is hard, they're delivering stiff hits. They are not letting any ball come down in uncontested.
Hill now, the man in motion, settles to the bottom of the screen. Struthers rolling out, throwing the pass, intercepted. The first of the night by Struthers. It's coming back the other way, and it's Nicholas Frossel with the INT, just when you didn't need to see that out of your Denver offense.
And it's at the worst possible time. Struthers was having a great night up to now, but it's just an insane, leaping, one-handed, outstretched catch from Frossel that all you can do is tip your cap, because it looks like he's a step behind the receiver there, and he is, but he just has such wingspan and athleticism to stretch out and get that one.
And that'll set up Minnesota in Denver territory after Nick Frossel's 2nd interception of the season. Reno now rolling out, throwing pass, tipped, almost intercepted. Oh, that was scary there, as you had Martin for the moment bobbling that one after a big paw there got up and swatted that one down. I couldn't see who that was, but good defense by this Nightwing team.
One of those rare moments. Who do you give the PD to? Do you give it to both of them? It was a little bit of volleyball.
It really was. 2nd and 10 now coming up for Minnesota. 5:45 remaining in this football game. They know that if they can score here, they can pull away and maybe secure themselves the victory. Reno, plenty of time all day to look deep, and he finds his man and he drops it. Oh, goodness gracious. Jason France with his hands all over that one, Alex.
And he got to be kidding me. You're in space. It's just off your fingers. That could have been an almost touchdown, if not a 1st and goal. What on earth?
We've seen that a couple of times tonight. Taylor now in motion. 3 receivers line up to the left. As Reno back to the air on 3rd down, going deep once more. This time he connects. It wasn't going to happen twice. He goes to T to Queen. And she gets him in the red zone and into goal line territory.
And this is just an incredible job by Reno, reading the zone coverage, seeing the one-on-one coverage where T has the positional advantage, and she's going to use her 6'3" frame to box out the defender in that one-on-one coverage. All he has to do is put it on her back shoulder, and he does.
We're going to say she was down just outside the 10-yard line, so it's a 1st and 10. Handoff right side to Knox, bulldozing closer, ever so closer to the end zone. Gets a gain of 8, 2nd and 2. And you know what? Desperation time for Denver right here. They need a big, huge, miraculous stop at this point.
In the baddest of ways, too. Colin Hart now over 500 yards rushing on the season and truly been a freight train to contend with tonight.
Back to the ground game they go. Colin Hart spinning ever so closer to the markers. And it is 3rd and 1 here. They've been able to contain them. Can they do it for a couple of more plays here?
And here's the question, is do you even give it to Colin Hart at this point? He's done 2 runs back-to-back. It's 3rd and 1, and Isaac Knox would get $250K more for another touchdown here.
Indeed, it would be his 2nd of the night. They give it to Hart, and Hart makes it into the end zone for the touchdown. Minnesota extends their lead 23-10, and that will be our breakaway play of the game, brought to you by Breaks GPT, sports memorabilia breakers and collectors. You never know whose autographed helmet or jersey you might hit. Check them out at breaksgpt.com.
And it feels a little weird to say that this was the singular breakaway play, but this whole drive as a unified single entity broke the back of this Denver defense, who has contained this Legends offense as best they can all night. Keeping them to 24 is a perfectly respectable stat line, but at the end of the day, the offense needed to show up tonight. And while they did score twice, you need another touchdown here, and you need it badly.
And again, it comes back to the turnover, the lone turnover by Struthers tonight that changed the complexion of this 4th quarter for Denver. The return out to the 31-yard line by Barker, and now you're just going to see a Denver team that's going to have to throw early, throw often, and throw deep here.
Getting very one-dimensional, and this is the danger zone. This is one of the things that's always been the toughest thing to ask of any quarterback in the SFL. You're down 2 scores with very little time to work with. Everyone knows it's all on you, and you have to make miracles happen in spite of that. I would say that the SFL as a whole is a very defensive league, especially in these moments. Defenses feast on these kinds of moments and make turnovers often.
Struthers will go to the air just as predicted, and coming up with a beautiful catch that time was Dalton Barker. They go no huddle, again with 3 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Struthers again to throw. This is short, and the pass is complete, though, for a loss. 2nd and 11, the clock continuing to run. Same formation. Struthers to throw. Oh, behind his man near their shoelaces. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 3rd and 11 on the way.
And that incompletion gives you a chance to take a breath, Cam. They were starting to get a little bit quick with those hurry-ups there. It was one of those moments where I could barely get a word in edgewise.
Fast-paced action there indeed by Denver. We'll see what they can do with 3rd and 11.
Same formation again, deja vu.
A rollout this time by Struthers. Buys him a little bit of time. He comes back across and almost intercepted. They got very lucky there. That number 29, Jubilee Marsh, wasn't able to pull that one in.
And a rare moment where Marsh has a ball like coming directly to her. Can't ask for much better than that, and that's that tells you why that she's a great defender and she can lay the hits on her. But that tells you why she doesn't play wide receiver. It's a fake!
A fake! Oh my goodness, they tried to go for it. They tried to throw him off with the fake handoff to Levens, and Minnesota able to read that one, contain it just enough. Denver trying to get tricky with it, and Minnesota with the stop.
An unbelievable spin move by the backup outside linebacker, Ike Reese, who plays his assignment, realizes what is happening almost immediately, and with a nice little nifty washing machine move, swallows that one up.
Did anybody have that on their bingo card tonight? I highly doubt it. As Hart running hard right side, 2nd and 1, and now it's just about running some time off the clock here.
For sure, and I give credit to the Night Wings offense. I agree with the Night Wings coaching staff that you have to go for it in that instance. And I think the gutsy call almost, and you see how close they got to the line to gain. If they had just had a few more yards that they gained during their actual drive there, if it hadn't been 4th and forever like it was, they could have gotten that one.
2nd and 1 as we see approaching 3 minutes in regulation here. Minnesota trying to get their 4th win of the season. Hand off to Knox, who hurdles over a defender and gets the first down, so the clock will continue to run. And Alex, let's talk about how important this is for Minnesota. They're in a tight race with Lexington right now at the top of the Central Division.
It feels tight, but also that is a matchup head-to-head where Minnesota overall as a team feels confident, whereas they were the winners of the division last season. Lexington is caught on their heels, but Lexington's their only real challenge. If you look at the overall performance of the rest of the squads, it feels like it's Minnesota, who's the only team that has a net positive in points average when you take points for and points against. Lexington, who's just behind them at -4, but everyone else is way back in the pack. So really, it's just Lexington that they are trying to pull away from, and this win will put them a clear game ahead.
And on the flip side for Denver, at 2 and 3, sitting at the bottom, near the bottom of the West Division, as that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Minnesota's offense tonight, 70-plus yards of offense in every quarter. We'll take a look at the team's upcoming schedules in just a moment. See what they've got coming up for both of these squads. A bye week coming up very soon for them, definitely in week 9. Handoff there, nothing doing. And a timeout called. So let's talk about that, Alex, coming up for both of these teams. The upcoming schedule for Minnesota, week 8, they will go to, they will actually host Motor City, on August the 31st at 9:15 p.m. And then for Denver, they will host Nashville September the 1st at 6:45 p.m. And then the bye week for both teams, week 9.
Definitely one where Minnesota expects to pick up a win in front of their home crowd against the divisional opponent. But Motor City, oh my goodness, ball on the ground.
And just as we start talking about the future, Denver's not finished playing football. The fumble late in this game, and it is recovered by Denver. And I believe that was Forge who made a critical play that time to secure the fumble. Let's see what happens here. Forge with the hit, actually, And coming in on that was number 25, Lucas DeVore.
Reminding us that, nope, there's still a football game going on. Don't turn away yet. Offense back on the field. If they can score and score quickly, there's a chance to get the ball back.
Minnesota has been able to keep Denver out of the end zone the entirety of this second half up to this point. We will see what happens here. Struthers throwing short. The pass is complete. That's Logan Kill as a timeout is made.
And that's, I think, one of the worst ways to end up having to use one of your only 2 remaining timeouts. You got a short play for barely any gain. It doesn't go out of bounds, so you've got to use the timeout because you're under 2 minutes. This is just a dire situation, but what else can you do?
Struthers again. Drops back quick, delivers a strike. The pass is complete, and the final timeout is called for the Nightwings. So from here on out, it's going to be a quick pace.
Hurry up or die.
That's right. Not a lot of clock stoppage, and we will see what the Nightwings can do.
Get a sip of water while you can, Cam. I feel like you're about to be a very busy man.
It might seem that way. If I may have to call a timeout quickly and let you in, my friend. That pass incomplete. We know you got some play-by-play experience, so if you hear me going down, you can just jump in there, okay?
Oh, only because you said so, and only because we called a few enough games together. We can get away with it.
Hey, we've called a few. We've had a good time doing it, too. This one is no exception either.
Not at all. It was 10-10 at the half. It's kind of crazy to see this Legends defense just completely stuff all scoring for the Nightwings in the second half. It's been a disappointment because I was really enjoying the competitiveness of it. Struthers bucking up here.
And 3rd and 2 coming up, obviously 4 down territory. Here comes the throw into enemy territory and an interception, and that will put this thing away tonight. Jubilee Marsh coming up with the INT. Just a really bad throw by Struthers trying to force something to happen there.
And she's not going to turn down that opportunity twice. That one coming straight at her. Square between the numbers. She didn't even have to leave her coverage position at all by more than a step or two to go get that one. Just the worst kind of throw from Struthers.
And that will put a cherry on top for the Minnesota Legend tonight as they'll take the kneel down, and we will see this clock run down. And overall, Minnesota, yeah, they're going to win by 14 here. But Alex, again, that score not really indicative of the type football game that we've seen, honestly, heading into this 4th quarter.
Not at all, no. Nightwings were showing themselves to be very gutsy tonight, and I think there's plenty of allowances for the new coaching staff that are making some adjustments against, honestly, one of the best teams in the SFL. Their record does not tell the story of how tough this Legends team is. They are absolutely the squad to beat in their division, and they are one of the deadlier teams in any playoff game. No one can sleep on them, and tonight they showed why they can close games out.
Reno with the kneel. And we'll remind you, folks, Week 7 continues tomorrow with a major matchup under the lights between unbeaten Arizona and Fort Worth at 9 p.m. Eastern, alongside Bossier City and D.C. in the late window, plus Louisiana, Florida, and Atlanta and Queen City in the early block starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And as always, you can catch all the action right here on SFL YouTube. Inside the final 10 seconds. One more snap, and that will do it. Minnesota gets the W here, and we'll quickly transition, Alex, into the post-game report. Give me your thoughts, my friend, as Minnesota wins 24-10 tonight in Denver.
Well, honestly, it was a bit of a textbook game from the Legend, who I think were surprised that they were held and much check as they were. But they got exactly what they needed once they established a lead in the second half. They got that extra score. They got that touchdown in the 3rd quarter off the back of some excellent throws from Johnny Reno. And when they did, they were able to shift gears and go to a steady diet of Colin Hart and Isaac Knox, who ended up with a total of 37 carries between them, along with one more to Robert Henson Jr. for a brutal, punishing rushing attack that just wore the clock down to nothing and gave the struggling Nightwings offense no chance to bring the game back after the defensive adjustments basically completely foiled them. Struthers wasn't able to do the business late, and just that's how it goes sometimes, but it was a tough fight. My personal thoughts or play of the game, I would say, are either Colin Hart for his workmanlike performance that translated into almost 108 yards, and incredible. Otherwise, it's just incredible work by Johnny Reno through the air.
Folks, final score from Denver, 24-10 Minnesota with the victory in this SFL late night fight. For Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters, Ron Haynes and Danny Carmichael on stats, and my buddy Alex West, it has been a pleasure, and my name is Cameron Duty. We will see you next time for some more exciting action of SFL on YouTube. Have a good night. Be safe. We'll talk to you very soon.